There we go. Now, Senator Forsythe, you were out here tonight. You were sort of the MC for the event with Ron Paul. What do you make of his chances this time around?
Chances overall, I think, are really good. He's got a strong national campaign. So, you know, he did well in Iowa. I think he's going to do well in New Hampshire. And he's the only other candidate besides Romney who has a strong national campaign to get delegates in all the states. And so I think people are going to start to see him as the conservative alternative to Romney. They've been looking for that, and they've picked a number of candidates and rejected them. I think they're going to start to see Ron Paul as the true conservative alternative.
Now, New Hampshire is a pretty libertarian state. Why didn't he do as well last time as he's doing now?
You know, I think the times weren't quite right yet for somebody like him. You know, the wars were a little fresher. People weren't as tired yet. The economy was not yet having the problems it is now. So a lot of things he was warning about in terms of the economy and decline of the dollar didn't really hit people then, but they're hitting people now. So that's the big change, I think.
What's your experience with other people you've talked to, with other legislatures? You're obviously a state senator in New Hampshire's epically massive state legislature. What's the reception how's Paul received in the New Hampshire legislature?
Actually, really well. We've got, you know, I endorsed from the state Senate. There's 24 state senators, 19 Republican. I endorsed, Senator Ray White endorsed, and Senator Andy Sanders. So we got 3 senators. We're the only campaign other than Romney with multiple senators, as far as I know.
Yeah,
I think that's true. And then, you know, over 20. I don't know if it's 30 or more state reps. You know, so he's fairly well respected in the legislature.
Is there any place you think he'll do really well in the state, or you think is there a specific region or a city?
Yeah, I'm not sure about geographically, but I expect he'll do well amongst independents, certainly among young voters. You know, that's where we really have seen, you see the crowd tonight was a bunch of young people. So that's where he does his best.
Yeah. One other thing, too. What do you make of the new polls that come out? They're showing him at 20%, another one's showing him at 22%. That's pretty good for Paul, isn't it?
Well, it's good for anybody. You know, Mitt Romney kind of lives here, so he's a very tough person to beat in the state right now. So to get over 20% and to be in a very strong second place, we're very pleased with that. You know, I think the race for New Hampshire is going to be the race to see who comes in second and how strong they come in second, because I think that person is going to be seen as the Romney alternative.
Now, you were largely inspired by Paul in 2008, I believe,
right,
when you decided to run.
His campaign then.
And you ran. Did you run for Congress, or you almost did?
I started running for Congress, and then I dropped out of the race. Yeah.
Now, just tell me a little bit about your political evolution due to Paul. Paul's clearly played a major role in your political life.
Yeah, well, I mean, the real major role for me was, as a kid, I went to the Soviet Union. I studied Russian language, and in college I studied a lot of Soviet studies courses, Soviet history. And so, you know, having been to the Soviet Union and seeing what, you know, government control of everything looked like and the lack of freedom made me really a strong believer in free markets. So I always had that belief. And then I'd see presidents get elected and say they were going to cut the budget, and they never did. Government always grew. And when I saw him, heard him talk, and saw his track record, I knew he would actually do it. And so that's why I got involved. So it's because he matched up with my beliefs.
Do you consider yourself a libertarian, a conservative?
I would say, you know, I'd describe myself either as a small L libertarian or as a, you know, more traditional conservative, as a constitutionalist.
Goldwater conservative?
Goldwater conservative, right.
New Hampshire's more of a libertarian state, as I mentioned earlier. What is it about New Hampshire that makes it such a hotbed for libertarianism?
You know, I don't know. I think maybe I think part of it is structure of government. I mean, if you look at our state constitution, every elected office, every state elected office is 2 years. We've got a governor who's kind of a weak governor because they've got the executive council. So and then the New Hampshire House, there's 400 representatives, so it's very close to the people. Yeah. So I think all of this has led it to be, you know, a state where government's weaker than other states. And I think, you know, that starts to attract people who believe in that. So I think that's where that comes from.
Any predictions for Tuesday?
No, I'm not going to make any predictions other than, you know, we're going to do well. We've laid a lot of groundwork. We've got great volunteers, and so we're very hopeful we're going to do very well.